So this is a weird video for me, but I feel like it's necessary, the catharsis. Um, do you know what a blighted ovum is? It is essentially the gestational sac that grows with your baby. And it holds your baby and, placenta starts to grow. Did you know that a blighted ovum means the baby wasn't in there? I learned that at the ripe old age of 30 last week when I went to my 7-week ultrasound because I thought I was pregnant. My doctors thought I were pregnant. Turns out it was a blighted ovum, which means that there is a gestational sac inside of me that does not hold a baby. And so today I am going to be having a D&C procedure to remove that gestational sac and any other stuff so that I can heal and then potentially have a kid in the future. But I'm in a weird place because they gave me a couple of options, or like you can do it, like you can wait for it naturally to expel, because at some point your body will realize that there's nothing there. Or they could have given me this 2-dose medication to induce like the gestational sac to leave. I didn't want to do any of that because already I am struggling with the fact the past month and a half I have been under the assumption that there's someone growing inside of me. And I don't like the idea of being at home. Like, I'll be home with my husband and he'll be there to support me. But I don't like the idea of going through that knowing what's happening. So for full disclosure, I've had one miscarriage before, and that was this year in August. And now we're having this situation in November. And it's weird. It hurts. And a part of me it's really trying not to internalize it as something wrong with me. Apparently, blighted ovums are kind of like the number one reasons for miscarriages in the first trimester. I've reached out to girlfriends, even neighbors that I've become close with, just like talking to them about it. And it seems like almost every woman has had that experience. So I'm not unique in that. But I'm going to have the procedure done. There's a lot of feelings here. One of the biggest feelings I'm having is this feeling that like they didn't want to come. Like, it's like setting up a nursery inside your body and hopeful that they're going to be there, and then they don't show up. So I'm trying my best not to internalize it as they didn't want me to be their mom, and more of like, this is just, bodies are weird. Bodies do really weird things. But that's hard. It helps that I have a husband who's understanding and who believes in science and who's not blaming this on me, because I feel like my immediate assumption, not because my husband has made me feel any kind of way or said anything, was just that he's gonna hate me because I couldn't have this baby. And that's definitely internalized misogyny from like growing up at a church where you're told that your entire life is based on having a baby for a man. But my husband has made it very clear that even if we don't have children, he will still love me unconditionally and that I am his priority. So that has been a blessing, and honestly, I'm about to tear up thinking about it. But it's a weird feeling. It's a very weird feeling. And I know that, I've spoken to my mom about it. It was going to be a huge surprise, but I was like, oh shit, I got to talk to my mom. Like I was going to hold it from her, and I was going to like wait until we get pregnant again. But it was that type of pain that, y'all, like, so we got our first ultrasound done a couple of weeks ago, and they were like, oh, maybe you're a little more earlier than anticipated because we don't see anything, but that's normal. And then last Friday or Thursday, I believe, we went again, and it was supposed to be our 7-week, which means that we should see something. Something should be there. Someone should be there. And we did, and no one was there. And it felt like the air was pulled out of the room, because even my doctor, the one doing the ultrasound, was shook, and she's like, I need you to go to the hospital right now. We're going to get you an emergency ultrasound. Like, you need to get checked out all around, because I don't like that I don't see anyone. And so when we went, immediately got that done, and I could even, like, the radiologist, not the radiologist, but the person who was doing the procedure cannot tell you like what they see because it has to be interpreted by a radiologist and whatnot. And even they were like, okay. And I think that just kind of shook me. And within an hour after the whole meeting with everybody, they called and were like, yeah, there's no one there. Everything is growing as though they're there. I'm having all of the symptoms of someone being there, but they're not there. And when I tell you that my world kind of shattered, I was just inconsolable for a while. But today we're going to have the procedure done. I'm nerve-wracked for one, the procedure itself, but I've never had a procedure that required me to go under. I chose that because for me, I want to wake up and it's done. I want to wake up where I can just focus on grounding myself with my husband, getting through the next couple of weeks, trying to figure out when my cycle's going to start again, or if there's going to be any complications. Like, I want it to just be done, and I didn't like the idea of it being a multi-hour affair of me just sitting on the toilet bleeding out. So that's getting done this afternoon, and I'm just shook. I'm shook because it never occurred to me that it could grow and no one would be in there. And I know there's probably going to be people who are like, oh, well, you don't know. It's like, I'm fucking sorry. Nobody told me that was an option. I'm sorry that our entire educational system focuses on wet dreams of little boys than it is of the function of our fucking uteruses. So I'm sorry I didn't know blighted ovums were a thing. But it also hurts me to know that it's almost so normal. Like, almost every woman I've spoken to who's had a child has had a blighted ovum. Why the fuck are we not talking about that? But that's not neither here nor there. I'm trying to process a lot of feelings at once, and also trying to keep myself from digging myself into a hole of, Diamond, this is your fault. And that is very, very hard. Very hard.